Hello everyone and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm reviewing Superman #1. Now this is the first issue with Johnathan Kent taking over as the lead character. This is written by Tom Taylor with art by John Timms. Now we start with a flashback to the day that Johnathan was born. Now I'm a little confused by this because as I recall, Johnathan Kent first appeared, it was during Rebirth, wasn't it? Or during Convergence. And then shortly after that he was introduced because, during Convergence, there were all these different alternate timelines that were manifested. And basically, this Superman and Lois and Johnathan came from the pre-New 52 timeline. And from before the reboot in Flashpoint. But then in this story, according to this, he was born on the post-New 52, or maybe it's post-Rebirth version of Earth. I don't know. I don't know if that's a mistake or if they're just choosing to ignore it. I don't know. But anyway, after his birth, we jump to the present, and there's a big wildfire out in California, and Johnathan arrives to help out, and the fire has been caused by this metahuman whose powers are out of control. He's got flame powers, I guess, and the military's trying to kill the guy, and Johnathan steps in and stops them, and then he talks to the guy and kind of calms him down because his powers are kind of connected to his emotional state, and gets him to calm down, and that helps him shut down his power. Now, then he turns the guy over to the military, and then he's flying away, and then they butt stroke the guy and knock him unconscious. And, of course, Jonathan's like, why did you do that? That wasn't necessary. And this military, this soldier, I don't know if he's, I don't think he's an officer. I'm not sure. But anyway, he says that guy was too dangerous to have conscious. His powers could have gone off again any second and killed us all, which... technically is true. But anyway, after this, he goes and he finds Damian, who's fighting some ninjas, to have a conversation. And basically, he tells Damian, he's trying to figure out, what should I have done there? And Damian's asking, why are you asking me about this? And Johnathan says, basically, I'm trying to figure out what kind of superhero I want to be, I guess, is essentially what he says. And Damian basically tells him to become, more or less become a social justice warrior. I mean, that's what it really boils down to. He tells him, it's a little harder to punch the climate crisis, inequality, the erosion of a free press, and the rise of demagogues. Since when does Damian care about that stuff anyway, really? And I think that Damian talking about inequality when he's the son of Bruce Wayne is a little ridiculous, a little absurd. But he basically urges Johnathan to be more, I guess you would say, proactive. And as he says, I think stop fighting crime, stop fighting the symptoms of corruption and injustice and fight the source, more or less. As he says, I get what's bugging you. There's nothing heroic about serving the status quo. Isn't that what the soldiers in World War II were doing? Weren't they fighting to preserve the status quo against the Nazis? So I think that that's a little bit of a sweeping statement. But anyway, what it boils down to is Damian gives Johnathan a mission statement to fight for, basically for my truth, social justice, and the progressive way, in essence. And look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not how it's going to go. Because you want superheroes to be fighting corruption. You want them to be fighting injustice. But I've just got a strong feeling that Tom Taylor's idea of the corruption and justice that needs to be fought isn't the same thing that I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's coming from a particular viewpoint. And I'm just kind of dreading what's coming. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting worked up about nothing. Maybe it'll be more down the middle than I think it is. But from what we've seen from DC and comics in general the last few years, I think I pretty much know how this is going to go. The problem with this issue, it's not bad in and of itself. But one thing is the usual decompressed storytelling. There's just not much story here. Again, we get basically Johnathan is born, and then most of the story, of course, is dealing with this fire and with this guy. But again, it's really just Johnathan just has a talk with the guy. He doesn't really do much. He just talks the guy down, calms him down, and that's it. And then he talks with Damian. And there's just not much story to this. It's really... There's maybe half an issue worth of story here. And that's all there is to it. Now, the art is okay by Tim's. It's not great, but it's solid. I think he needs to work on his faces, especially his expressions. But I think he's a new guy. He's going to grow. He's going to learn. So I'm not too worried about that. His storytelling is pretty solid. It's hard to really say on action because, there's just not much action in the story, so I really can't judge his ability to depict action properly. We'll need to see more from him. So overall, this is a pretty meh issue. And like I say, I'm pretty sure this comic is going to be for the woke crowd only. This comic isn't for you, will be the story. Since Johnathan is a fairly new character, I think they've moved him into the spotlight and made him the main character in this book because since he's new, and hasn't been around that long, he's less defined as a character, and I think they can more easily mold him into this kind of left-wing activist character more easily than they could with Clark, and that's why he's getting this push now. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Taylor will surprise me, but I wouldn't bet on it. Anyway, let me know what you think about Johnathan as Superman in the comments, and please do hit the like before you leave. And also please sub to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. Oh, and also I forgot, kind of slight marginal thumbs down on this issue. But also hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.